Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Quarantine Fun with us here at Ela 55 Plus. Is this
Groundhog Day?
Is this week 5?
Of this series?
Of this series.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe.
Anywho, so.
Feels like 10.
Wait, is it
10 glorious
winter yet?
weeks.
Yeah. As you can see by all of us, we either have more freckles, in my case, or
Maybe it's
color,
Sunday.
or we're burnt like
Got
a
burnt.
lobster. It was a very nice weather weekend, so thank you for that. Mother
It's all
Nature.
over now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now it's
back
back to
to
40
winter.
degrees, so welcome to Chicago. So we're getting together today and we're just talking about different random things, totally random, so try to keep up with us. My first question for the group was, what is your biggest fashion faux pas? Not currently even, so don't be making fun of us, right? Or, because this doesn't count. We
think we're stylish today.
Yeah, we're in quarantine time. But in general, although I will say on the quarantine time, I heard something about some woman got to the grocery store and realized that she had bright orange slippers on because she never changes because she doesn't have to.
It's comfy.
And she's like, and my husband saw me walking out the door and didn't even say anything. So yeah, look out. All right,
I've seen some stuff too.
Laura, what's your biggest?
Oh, well, I was just reminded from a friend on Facebook who contacted me about sleepovers when we were in junior high.
Oh.
And then we all brought over makeup to do each other's makeup, and I was wearing at the time bright blue mascara.
You were very cool.
So
I
It
do
was
remember that being cool.
In.
Blue
Jim,
mascara.
I remember all colors.
I've seen
Blue
pictures of that. I
mascara.
think that was a little before. I mean, I've never worn mascara, so that I know of.
Blue, green, pink.
Yeah, I do remember the colored mascara.
All colors, and now, oof,
Yeah.
probably wasn't really a good look.
Yeah. I'd have to say mine goes back to high school prom. When I think about it, my prom dress had like gloves. Like, why? And I'm not sure about that choice.
Stay protected.
I don't know.
Now.
You were ahead of your
Yeah.
time.
Well, they weren't
Do you
like
have a
blue
mask?
gloves. They weren't like surgical gloves. Let me be clear. I didn't have. It wasn't like a prom dress and surgical gloves. Yeah, or like leather gloves. It was like. Actually, I didn't even cover my hands, so I could have texted at the time if I could have been.
Oh, like a cutoff?
Yeah, it's like a big V, and then like the arm was like lace, like but just like a V in front.
Oh wait, you're just not mentioning the lace part?
Oh, and they were lace.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, like, what was that like? It wasn't like the 50s. I mean, it was the 80s. So I don't know. Maybe that was
Like
back.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Was that Madonna? Maybe I was going for Madonna look. I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah.
That.
No tassels,
Yeah.
just clubs.
Cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Could have used that, but didn't.
You don't have to tell us all
Wow.
about the prom dress.
So I really went there. I really keeps every year we have the staff meeting and for the planning for the next year, and I always bring up this senior prom. I think we should bring it back.
You do, in which we
We
all are
ever
convinced
do.
it's just because Lisa wants to wear her prom dress.
And my gloves.
And her gloves,
Do
apparently.
you still have it?
I do.
We knew that. We knew that. Come on.
It might be laid out on that. No, it's not. It's like
Could
in a
you
box.
wear it next week?
It's in a box.
Mother's Day for Mother's. Just wear it for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Surprise! It could happen.
We're getting fancy
It could
today.
happen.
So remember that whole big phase of the leggings used to have stirrups on them,
Yes.
right?
When we
And then
were
you wore it
pregnant.
with like a big sweater.
Yes.
And I had this like mustard yellow sweater that, looking back now, I just look like a giant bumblebee.
Oh, because you wore it like 3 sizes too big.
Yes,
It was never a
it had to
sweater
be
that
huge.
fit.
Yeah.
It had to be a big sweater.
Oh my god.
Was it from Express? Where was it from?
I
Or
don't
was it from
remember.
Limited? Like, where was it from?
Okay, you have way more attachment to clothes than I do, clearly, because I do not know. But I do remember, it was quite the striking outfit. That was my deliberate faux pas. My accidental faux pas, I would say, kind of close to what we were just talking about, the woman going to the grocery store. I was incredibly pregnant with my first, and we lived in the city, and we were going to see Defending the Caveman. And my husband was coming straight from work. And, you know, I'm thinking I'm so cute, I'm, you know, like big as a house. And I think I actually put a dress on. Might have also been a muumuu. But as he's walking up to me, like his expression is changing. And he's just like, you know, like, hey, nice to see you. And then it's kind of like perplexed and puzzled. And he looks down at my feet. I couldn't see my own feet, thank you. And I had my slippers. And I couldn't see it, you know, running out the door, trying to look nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was my big faux pas. But and no one else, and we had to stand in line outside, like even though you had tickets, you know, you were just waiting for the doors to open. I didn't get any funny looks from anyone else, so
They're like,
Probably
every
just
woman
like-
should be comfy. No stilettos expected there.
that was so huge.
But those stirrup pants, that was a weird
The stirrup
thing.
pants.
Were they because we were to keep them down?
Yeah, because you know they didn't have spandex.
Okay.
Spandex wasn't around, so it was just cotton, and
Right.
you had to then. Otherwise, they would just.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be so like taut. You
Right.
couldn't get that triangle look.
It's weird.
Wasn't it weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Yeah.
interesting.
I've never had any of those things.
Because you'd wear them with shoes like that, so you would still see the stirrups.
Oh, you did,
It's like,
yeah.
wait, it's not like you covered them up with boots. It was like you still, but we all did it. You guys did it too, I'm
You
sure.
know you did.
You
and
did
the big
it.
hair.
You
The big
did.
hair of the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
It was just nice to have hair, like a lot more hair. Like I think, like now, you couldn't make it that big
Why
anymore.
would you?
I don't know. With my prom dress, I might.
It sounds like you want to
And
go
Laura's
back.
blue
Are
mascara.
you getting that too?
Like,
I just
If
think I
only we could
do it.
just be stuck in the 80s with everything we had and live the way we do.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Bring it back.
There
Now's
was a
the
lot
time.
of hairspray.
During quarantine?
Yeah,
just
bring it all back.
Not, just not on a Monday where everybody can't see. I might, maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
I, being a guy, probably did a lot of things that most would frown upon. Kristen has helped shape me into the adult male.
Into the fine fashion you
Whatever. I didn't know I was going to be on camera today, or I would have.
He was wearing jean shorts.
Yeah.
Louder.
Jorts.
I wouldn't have gotten so sunburned.
Jorts and tube socks.
But I did not own a pair of jeans until I want to say college.
What?
Like I wore
Were you a fancy boy?
either khakis. I just
No
had
tough
my
skins?
I had my mind made up that I wasn't going to wear them. I guess. I think in elementary
That
school.
is an odd platform to choose.
To hold
Yeah.
around.
Well,
Yeah. I think in elementary school, the reasoning was I wanted sweatpants so I could slide around on the gym floor, and jeans aren't good sliders. So then it morphed into like
No.
either corduroys or khakis,
Corduroys.
but I didn't own jeans.
Or like joggers. Or was it a jogger?
No, joggers are
Joggers are
right
right
now.
now.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
And then,
Track
I'm trying to think of
pants.
what else. I wore bigger shirts in junior high than I do now. It was like an extra large.
right, we all
T-shirt.
wore bigger
Like
clothes.
Larry David outfits.
Yes.
This is like,
Larry David.
there's no reason for it. Like it was
Striped
way
shirt.
too big. And I remember telling everyone like, yeah, extra large shirt.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no reason for that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You're
no.
like
You're such a
You're like a
burly
medium.
big guy.
I'd be swimming.
Medium
I could pull it over my leg.
Yeah, I've seen Adam in those. They were at Disney
Yeah.
with shorts on. I'm like, are
Yeah.
you wearing shorts?
Right.
right.
Yeah, I'm not
you're
sure why.
wearing
There's a
shorts.
lot of fabric for no
Right.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the longest
tucking.
time, I would always wear basketball shorts under whatever pants or shorts I was wearing, just in case like a game broke out.
Wow, you were ready.
Then in the summer, it got really warm, so it was not practical.
You were ready.
I think that if we poll the youth staff that is here right now, at least 2 out of those 3 have basketball shorts underneath their pants.
Really?
Plus there was that whole big
Okay.
thing, you know, when you get people with pants, yeah?
So
No.
they're just always ready for that?
See,
No,
why,
yeah.
Laura and I, yes, oh my gosh, that was a huge thing for a while.
Yeah.
At least
But
in
I
our
mean,
house
like,
it was.
you wouldn't wear shorts underneath, those would come down too. It's not like you have suspenders on.
Did you wear a uniform to school?
No,
Oh, you went to
public school. No, but once I remembered, I got dressed and had my pajamas on underneath my clothes and I just forgot or got dressed over. It's like I have a memory of that grammar school. Now, I don't know if it was intentional or I just was in a
Because
hurry.
we would wear shorts underneath our uniform skirts always.
Sure.
That makes sense, that's
Mhm.
practical. Basketball shorts,
Right.
again, it was just like, well, I'm not gonna be playing basketball and
Why is that practical? Why would a girl wear her shorts underneath her? Was it like
I would rather do that as a girl.
Well, probably
Got
so
these
in case
sneaky
your
boys
skirt was
trying
short.
to sneak a
Boys.
peek.
Under your skirts,
Yeah.
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 The girls wear like, like not
We
bike
do
pants,
now,
but
the
like,
little ones, we
whatever
make
those
sure they
are.
have shorts
Yeah.
on.
Yes.
Oh, do you?
If you're on the bleachers,
Yeah,
Yeah. Right,
because they don't
That
always
makes
sit
sense.
like ladies.
no.
right,
That's true too.
yeah.
That is so true. Huh.
Weirder for the guys.
Mm.
Unless the game breaks out and then you're like, sweet, I'm in. It happens.
Yeah.
Not anymore,
It's
that's
a
why I
thing,
don't do it
Lisa.
anymore.
Yeah. All right, well, there was my question. Jim?
I want to ask who believes in ghosts, and depending on your answer, do you have a story to share that supports your answer?
Well, I think you should go first. Because
Yeah, obviously you do.
You got a story.
Well, this falls in that gray area of like, do you believe in spirits, ghosts, angels, what happens when we die, whatever. So I think there is a gray area
That's a
for
good question.
sure. There is. And there's a lot of contradicting thoughts. Where can ghosts like move through walls, or can they touch things and knock them over? Because you can't do both. Either you can interact with matter or you can't. You know, like you can't go through a wall and then knock over a book.
Oh, true. Unless you do it with your
Well,
ghost
we
mind.
don't know.
Are there really
There are
ghost rules?
I think there's gotta be some
Right.
physics
They're
involved.
beyond our.
I believe in Casper.
Bewitched could do it all.
She's a witch.
See? I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
not a ghost. Okay, sorry. Whoop.
Either way, there's a lot of gray area.
Serious control over her nose muscles.
Yeah, impressive, but
Yeah.
still not ghostly. So at my grandparents' house in Michigan, there were a few weird things that happened. One night, I got up out of bed in the middle of the night, and I remember trying to find, I think at the time it was my iPod, because I don't think I had a cell phone yet. I don't know.
He's
Probably.
young. God.
I would say 15, 16-ish. And I remember trying to find that because I knew I had to have a light because I needed to go outside and go find something.
Oh.
And I don't know what. It was like this overwhelming desire to get outside. And I was just walking, like I don't even know where I was going.
And you did it?
Well, I'm looking all over the room for the iPod, like wake out of a dead sleep, go to grab it, I'm shining the light down the stairs so I can see, and then kind of like stop and go, whoa, what am I doing? And so then I just went back up to bed. But I'm wondering if I would have kept going, like where I would have gone or what I would have ended up.
So you
Going
feel
to.
this was
It felt like I was
sleepwalking?
almost like being controlled. No, because I was awake. Like I remember it. It felt like I was being not like manipulated, but
Yeah,
like
drawn.
led somewhere.
Lead.
And then I don't think it was that time, but another time there, my grandpa just passed, and my sister went down the stairs, and it's pitch black in Michigan. There's no streetlights or anything. We're there in farm country, and the light turned on in the living room, and my grandpa's chair started rocking back and forth. And my sister saw that and turned the light out and ran upstairs, went to bed.
Huh.
Oh.
So that's weird.
Mhm.
I have some signs. I feel like I do. I believe in all that stuff.
In witches.
In witches apparently bewitched. That was real. But like things like running water, like it could be me just leaving it on and not realizing and coming back hours later. But like sometimes my faucet's like running, and I always think that's like, I don't know why I think it's somebody talking to me that has passed
Oh.
away, my dad or maybe a grandparent or something. Same thing with the front closet door that's open randomly. Sometimes it's just open, and I'm like, it's like a sign. running water and like just doors. And again, that's just not.
What's the
close
sign?
enough. But I'm like, but I don't think I do that. I don't think I leave stuff
I
open
think
or
we're
on.
gonna need some home camera surveillance.
And I
on you.
really, yeah, this could, that could maybe like, right, confirm or
Solve the
deny.
And so then what would
Yeah.
happen though, like to your mindset,
Yeah,
if there was something that just totally busted you on everything, like it is constantly you leaving the water on and leaving the closet door open, like would that change your, like your belief that there are signs?
yes, because those are two predominant signs that I always think that they're thinking of me or sending me some type of, hey, good job on that, or keep that up, or whatever, that I always think like, what's going on at this time?
Thank
That
you.
this person's telling me like,
Yeah.
don't stop doing, you know, like, that's
Yeah.
giving me that encouragement, and I always like can, you know, think of what's going on at that moment and can make sense of it. Like, yep,
Wow.
that's my dad saying this, or that's my grandma saying that, and so it's like, it's weird, because I can come up with stuff, so, I don't know. But,
So you look for it, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if I go upstairs thinking, is it on? But I go
No,
upstairs,
but, like,
and
you're
it's
ready.
always like
you're
that.
open to it.
I'm open
Yeah.
to it, I'm really
Yeah.
open to it. And the red cardinal, and I think that's everybody's thing
Oh
when
my
I
gosh,
see
a
one.
bird or
But
something.
it is because all of a sudden that's the only bird we really see from
Because
afar.
they're, right,
They're
but like,
red.
do you go to Puerto Rico and look for a red cardinal? I doubt it.
No,
Do
but
you know
when
what
I
mean? Like,
see it, I
because
always
I don't
think
know.
like, oh, someone's, I always think it's a spirit or it's somebody. So for some reason I think a lot of people think that.
It's
It's
comforting.
common, yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
You know, I haven't had any experience that I believe is that, and I probably am one to maybe not think it's real.
Uh-huh.
So I probably in my own mind am like, well, that's not that.
Right.
So
Like
I'm
there's
not,
gotta be a
Casper's in front of her
rational-
going,
Yeah.
woo, hurrah!
Well, like there's gotta be a
I
rational
don't say
explanation. So you would say like, oh,
Right.
someone opened the
Yeah.
closet or you left the water on.
right,
I think that's what Susan means, like,
Yeah,
that is not inherent in a message, so you are taking a message from that.
right.
It's not like Morse code dripping or anything where you're
Right.
like,
or it's left a stain in
Although I
the
don't-
sink from the water, it says, you're on the
Right.
right track.
Right, yeah,
and is it always the same sink or can it be
most of
any
the
sink?
time, but,
Oh,
yeah.
it's the same sink.
Depends if I'm in the kids' bathroom and leave theirs on. No, I don't know. No, I guess. I mean, the kids have told me lately, like, Mom, you know the burner's on still, right? I think I turn it down. Now, I do not think that's a ghost. Like, I know that's me because I was using the stove and I think I'm turning it off and I turn
I'm
it
starting to
down.
have a lot of levels.
But
of
like, so it
uncertainty.
could be me doing stuff like that too. But those are the two things that I always think are not.
I take it you don't believe.
I don't. I know, and I know, I mean, and we've talked about this, like Tracy and Sandy, they've all had just really, like, palpable, real experiences.
Right.
I don't,
Do you ever dream about somebody that passed away that's kind of talking to you? Like a grandparent or a...
Not talking to me, I mean, I have dreams with grandparents that have passed in them,
Yeah.
but not to where, like, I'm accepting some kind of message from them.
Yeah.
But again, I think like Laura, I don't think I'm real open to that.
Yeah, I think you have
I'm
to be
definitely
open.
skeptical
Yeah.
on all of that kind of stuff.
Did you ever see a psychic?
No.
Psychic? I've never had
No.
either. I'm afraid.
Kristen has, when we went to Salem. But,
Oh.
see, and I think that's,
Sounds like, was Bewitched there?
I think that's separate, cause that they just use tricks. Like if you say something big enough, and people like you would read into it, people like Laura probably wouldn't. Like
Yeah.
you have to get a
Right.
feel for, but the type of people that see psychics are probably the ones that would read into it,
And they're looking
Right.
for something, they
Yes.
walk in that door,
wanting to hear.
Yeah,
and so they're going to twist whatever that person says into like, oh my gosh,
Right.
she knows.
Like,
Right.
so you're having issues with money. How did you know? Because everyone is.
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
beloved one is standing behind
Right.
you and.
You're anxious.
Right.
Really? No.
No, not. But
Stop reading my
okay,
mind.
so right after my dad passed, I was in his car and the glove compartment flew open. And I'm like, that's weird. And so I close it and go about my day. And I was telling friends a few weeks later what had happened. And I'm like, maybe look in there and see if there's something in there that I like should be finding or whatever. Just kind of like as a joke.
That's what I would think.
And there was a picture that I had been looking for since he passed that I couldn't find.
Those are the things.
and why would that be in his glove compartment? What are the odds that I have never before or since had a glove compartment just fly open, and it wasn't like an old car that was falling apart. You know, it was.
Yep.
So that is something where I don't know if that's ghost, I don't know if that's a spirit, I don't know if that's whatever. I have no way of explaining that.
Yeah.
And sure, am I reading into it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was also looking for it, and I mean, I could have just as easily not looked in the glove compartment afterward, and then I never would have thought about it. But I'd like to think it was something positive.
Yep. I think it was him. Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to me, I guess.
Start being open to it, Laura.
Yeah, maybe they're real, they're just not interested.
No, right.
20
We've
people
said
can
what
talk
we've
to you
needed
one
to,
time.
we're done.
Yeah.
Ghosts of boyfriend's past.
Well, yeah, see, bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, Laura, your turn.
Oh, all right. Well, there were several, so. All right, well, I'll do the, when you were growing up, what was your dream job?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And is any part of that still true? So, for the longest time, I always knew I wanted to be a rec therapist. Most people are like, what, you know, you don't know what you want to be, or you want to be a athlete or a doctor, some
Right.
really great goal to achieve or hard to achieve. But I had a grandparent that had strokes and was in a wheelchair, and they were down here in Illinois, and I'm from Wisconsin, and every summer I would go down to my grandparents' house, and my grandma took care of my grandpa who had the strokes, and she took care of him until they died all by herself with Hoyer lifts and all this. But she sent him to, back then it was called adult daycare, to be able to give herself a little bit of a break and for some other interaction for my grandpa. And my grandma was like, you want to stay with me today, or you want to go with grandpa? And I was like, I'm going with grandpa because they did fun things. And so I always wanted to know, what are these people, who are they, what kind of a job is this?
So how old
Yeah.
were you around?
My grandpa died when I was 8.
Wow, so yeah, you
Wow.
were super young and you knew that.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
also, again, compared now to then, like the idea of, a 6, 7, 8-year-old going to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would not
And having
happen
that.
now,
No.
right?
Right.
So,
Oh,
Right.
that's awesome.
So I knew that's what I wanted to do forever.
yeah.
So, and I still
Oh.
am
Yeah,
in
you've got your foot in that pool.
vein of,
Yeah.
recreation and helping others out and
Yep.
finding their
Caring
pursuits.
for others.
Yeah, I have good examples,
I think that's it. Good examples. That made you feel like that was a good. Yeah. That sounds like mine. I too, at an early age, but I thought it would be something more clinical, like a nurse or something in a hospital, or some field in a hospital or something like that. But then my grades didn't really support that. So it was social services all the way. But I mean, and that wasn't until like college where I started taking some clinical courses, and I was just like, this is hard and it's not that fun. But I shampooed hair in a nursing home in high school, and I remember seeing, like, I don't know if it was a discharge nurse or somebody that was in social services, and I always thought, like, that looks like a great job, just somebody helping them and not necessarily having to be, giving medicine or doing stuff like that. So, but yeah, and my mom worked in a nursing home too when I was in grammar school, and she was a receptionist, but I would go visit her, and it was just nice and fun, and you talk to people, and it wasn't like, it was a comfort zone for me. So, that social services with seniors, I guess you would say, that was the population, and that was always I thought where I would be.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be here.
Just luck.
Yeah, I mean, like from 8th grade on, I really thought I would be a photographer, and like that was going to be it, like National Geographic kind of photographer. It's not real
Like
conducive to
naked
family
tribal people, or
You
Like,
literally could follow your
not-
kids around with what they do in life and take their pictures, and you could make that still happen. 'Cause
Well,
you kind of have.
I
They
kinda
are
have,
like
and I do.
amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, in fact, again, during this quarantine time, you have the time to just look, and my mom, Saturday, just gives me like this stack of photos. I am telling you, like, just hysterical.
From when?
From basically when Connor was born, so 27 years ago on, and that child's life was documented way more than any human should ever be found.
First poop.
Yeah, right?
First word, you knew it all.
Yeah, but, and I'm so glad that I have it, and I have that for all of the boys, and I am grateful. Again, we've had this discussion, I'm the third and like the youngest child, and there are 2 photos of me. One, I am this fat 18-month-old sitting in the grass, eating the grass. So it's a proud parent moment, I'm
It
sure.
may or may not have been you. They might have just told you it was you because they couldn't find any other
No,
ones.
see, this is the problem. This is the double-edged sword of I'm the only redhead.
Oh,
So,
okay.
trust
It
me,
was you.
It's me. And so there's that one, and then my first communion. So then we jump to like 8th grade graduation, and then we jump to high school graduation. Yeah, no,
Wow.
actually, you know what? I don't think there's a photo of my high school graduation.
There's no proof of
Did you
that.
graduate? I knew it.
We're learning a lot during these
Right?
Mondays.
Right?
Uh,
So yeah, I totally dreamed of being a photographer, wildlife photographer.
Huh.
Being out on safari.
Well, if you've ever seen Susan's pictures from the trips and everything, you know she definitely has a gift there. We were in Canada together, and I was literally taking pictures next to her of what she was taking pictures of, and I was like, are we in the same place? Like, and then after a while, I was like, why am I not just waiting for her pictures to come to me? Because it doesn't matter if I took them or not.
It could have been the sprinting before it.
It could have been. It could have been. Yeah, there was a very short period of time, and it was like, yeah, just keeping up
We were
with you.
running in time.
My pictures were still moving, and hers were done and gone. I was like, hold on. That's it too, but yeah.
Well, good for you at
It's
taking
hard.
all those of the boys, because that was before
Yeah.
digital, where you could take
Yeah.
Right?
5,000 pictures and you're like, oh well, I'll delete 3,000 of these, big deal.
Yeah.
That is like, every picture is so precious. I
Oh my
remember
gosh.
thinking like,
Yeah, it's better you don't
having a
actually
Kodak
do it.
camera, and I'm like, alright, is this really worth it? And do I want to waste one picture on this, or
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's
one
true.
tin film.
Yeah.
It's there.
you wasted a ton, sure.
Thousands.
Well, and isn't it great that you couldn't delete so many? Because I feel like I delete some now that I'm like, why did I delete that? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
before you couldn't. And those are some of the best pictures. It
'Cause
didn't have to
they're,
be
like,
perfect.
candid.
Yes.
Yeah,
It didn't matter if people were looking in different directions or I don't know.
that's true.
And
Funny
that is,
faces.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just better then.
It's speaking when, so again, like trying to take a picture of 4 boys is like herding
Right.
cats.
Yeah.
Or like Kevin's family. Holy moly. But I find, as soon as we say, okay, everybody get together, I start shooting because when I look back at those,
Those are the
it's the
funniest,
ones
yes.
of them yelling at each
Yes.
other or making
Right.
fun of
Yes,
each other.
right.
Or just who stands where, and the boys always are trying to look taller than each other,
Right.
and it's just hysterical. And I like the ones leading up to that
Yeah.
photo.
It's like the crying kid on Santa's lap. Like, okay,
Right.
at the moment, that's a mother's like, you know, that's awful. Oh, that's
Yeah, we
Santa's
had
lap.
one this last year.
Yes, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like after you get past that, you're like, that's so awesome. Like,
Right.
And they'll think it's funny,
They will.
hopefully.
well, maybe not.
And then it
but-
just totally conjures up, you know that memory instantly.
Right.
As soon as you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, remember? He hated that.
Because if you see the one good one, you're like, that doesn't tell the whole story. This was 20
No.
minutes leading
right,
up to this
right,
picture.
right,
That
exactly.
is
Red face
exactly it.
Like a Christmas card, you're getting, like, that is not the story. What
Right.
really happened?
Exactly. Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
All right, what'd you want to be, Jen?
Yeah.
I didn't have anything in mind. I mean, the sport thing was always something, but I knew realistically that wasn't going to happen. We would pretend to be teachers, my sister and I, in the basement a lot, but she became a teacher. But I was always just like, kind of along for the ride.
Mhm.
I didn't have anything that I was like dead set on that I wanted to do. And even my major, psychology, I thought it was interesting and was told, well, that could be a good major if I want to get into occupational therapy. So that was going to be my profession. And then same with you, the grades, I'm like, this is hard.
I know.
Knowing like muscles and bones in the body and
No.
studying, I'm much more of a like discussion student and like
Yes.
15 kids in a class, not a lecture hall, read this textbook, take a test.
Right.
That's not my wheelhouse.
Mhm.
So that, I was never gonna be like a doctor or a therapist or anything, cause It's a lot of work. So I took the lazy way out. Now I'm here playing games.
Teaching,
Right.
therapy,
Yeah.
all the
See,
things
it's just
that.
those gifts that are right.
Yeah, I mean, there are snippets of it I use for sure, but
Yeah.
And we've said that here, like you can, I'm such a believer in skills, in personality more than pieces of paper such as degrees. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying, I'm not.
Stay
stay
in
in
school.
school. Yeah, stay in
Yeah.
school.
Or no, or just saying that like, you know, getting,
Or
especially like those postgraduate degrees, things like that, that there is a bigger skill set that I think that is drawn from that more than what that field might actually be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I think that you can, if you don't have a personality for a certain job, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have, it's not going to work.
Right.
And I think that why we have such a great chemistry in this building is because we all have pretty similar personalities that complement each other very well, actually. And our skill set too is that we are very adaptable, and like I just think about, you know, everybody actually in this room, you know,
It works. Yeah.
you can throw anything at us and we'd be like, okay, well, we can do that. We may
Like-
not.
Eventually.
Right,
Yeah.
we may not have, like, probably wasn't what we went to school for, but we'll figure it out, so.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'll pick something a little lighter here,
Oh.
because it may be the finale. I don't know where we are on time, but
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask
Yeah.
a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
something pretty light, like,
Biggest
Wait.
regret.
wait, sorry.
Yeah.
As if the print's not big enough on here, but there was something that I saw. Okay, well maybe it was just. Let's go with what is your favorite comfort food? Just because I know that was one of them, and that's light. I think that was in there, right? What's your
Yes.
favorite? Okay, what is your favorite comfort food? I would go with pizza. I'd have to say,
What do you have on your pizza? And you do thick or
Like-
thin?
like walking through the garden.
Walking through
Then,
the
I mean, I usually get outnumbered by whatever my family wants, and I'll eat anything pretty
Mhm.
easy that way. It's not like, you know. But if I was just to order it for myself, it would probably be like a thin crust, veggie, that kind of thing. But it's just a comfort food, I think. It's like, you know, it's not super healthy, but it's something that makes you feel good. And I'm usually ordering it out, so I'm not like, you know, making it. It's just like instant. Pizza's here, smells good. I don't know. Maybe I think too, like when when I was really young, my parents would go out like on a date night or whatever, it was like pizza that we could
Oh,
order
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So that was like, yeah, that was like a good, it was that and potato chips and dip. So anything with like sour cream and onion soup mix,
Oh.
that with like some J's.
Right, because
and
we
pizza
weren't,
is like
the
the best
fast
night
food
ever.
generation.
No,
You know what I mean?
we
Like
did get
that was
McDonald's
after us.
once in a while, like once
Right.
every 2 weeks.
But it's
on
not
Friday.
like it is,
No.
that was not us.
No, we didn't
No.
go to restaurants. If someone graduated.
My parents tried not to
Maybe.
let me out in public.
Birthday.
Yeah, it had to be something really special.
Yeah.
Red Lobster. But otherwise,
Ooh.
I didn't, or
This is
Ponderosa.
lovering you.
Ponderosa.
Which seniors still ask for all the time. Every time something goes up, we say, is it gonna be a Portillo's? And like, you know, someone like Don Fick will say, oh, I hope it's a Red Lobster. It never is
I've
either.
never been.
Red Lobster?
No.
I don't think
I
I
think
have
it was
either.
better in the 70s though. I don't
I
think
don't
it's
think
as
I
good
have
now.
been to a Red Lobster either.
It was pretty fancy pants for us, like, yeah.
Well, my comfort food, I would say, is Sloppy Joe's. And
Really?
yeah, but that's, I think, going back
With
to
the
like-
bun?
Oh.
See, that's
Ah.
what it is.
Yeah.
See
Just
that?
bread is your comfort.
See that?
Because the sloppy joes that I make, that came from my grandparents' tavern. My grandma made it, and so I think that it's all of it.
Nostalgia.
Yes.
In that tavern.
It's food
Plus,
association.
it's just good
Yeah.
stuff.
It's food association.
Homemade. Listen, we're not talking about man in a can or manwich, whatever
Right.
it is.
No.
This is homemade sloppy joes, diced green pepper and onion.
Was that called manwich?
Yeah.
Oh my god, do they still make that?
Man
Yeah.
peppers too.
They do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mine would be lasagna,
Oh.
and I would say like from an Italian restaurant where they have like a huge thing of cheese that they just
Like you're
melted.
gonna choke on the cheese as you, yeah.
Give me all that. And robes the plate. It's like off the edge even is fine. I'll eat that. It's just cheese. Cheese is my comfort food.
Yeah.
Just give me like a plate
And
of
pot
melted
and
cheese.
noodles, and just noodles and cheese.
But yeah, a good lasagna,
Yeah,
sign me up. I mean, there's no food I dislike,
right.
so
Isn't there?
not many.
Yeah.
And even so, I'd
Me
probably
neither.
still eat it.
Right.
But yeah, I would say lasagna.
All right, this is hard for me because I would have to go with cinnamon rolls.
Oh, so we're thinking
yeah.
savory and you've gone
Oh.
sweet. I got that.
Again,
Okay.
as you
Yeah.
recall,
Yes.
would not give up dessert,
Dessert.
would not
Right.
give up
Yeah.
liquor.
Right.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Right.
Trend.
But they
My
have
pizza
to.
comes with a beer.
Homemade?
Yeah.
Not
They're
cinnamon?
Oh, no, those are good too.
Okay,
But I am particular about them. They have to be the gooey and,
the middle.
yeah, you
The
get a lot of
middle.
I
bad
never
cinnamon
liked
rolls.
cinnamon rolls.
No?
No.
What about Rhodes? You ever do the Rhodes dough? Is that what you were gonna say?
I have
Because
had,
then it rises and then you just bake them and stuff.
Yeah, when you
Pillsbury is
warm.
good too, but yeah.
yeah,
I can
my
remember
mom's.
making them as kids too, like you put them on
So
the,
you don't mean in a can, you're
No.
talking like
these
legit.
legit
real,
cinnamon
the real
rolls.
deal, homemade. My mom can make any of that stuff with her eyes closed, so that. And my
Never thought of
grandparents and my
making
aunts.
homemade.
No, me
Good.
neither.
You've never had a homemade one?
Same.
I don't think so. I mean, I thought homemade was,
Well, I have four.
In
of
the
those.
can.
Right.
And
I have
most
four
fun
in
part
the
of it
freezer.
is getting the can.
yeah, that was homemade for us. Like, yeah.
Oh, well, my mom made everything from scratch, so.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's awesome. Now, do you make those? The ones that your
I
mom
just
made?
said I have
you
four.
make
Oh.
I have four in the freezer that I made for Aubrey's birthday, so I said, well, except for you can't have it.
Ah. All right.
Mhm.
Let me know how much. We'll talk.
Yeah, well, we have to leave now because we're all starving and we need
Yeah.
to go
Yeah.
find our comfort food.
Actually, we have to go deliver curbside meals.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what
Actually,
we
we'll
really,
see
that's
you
what we
soon.
really have to do.
So, hope you guys all have a great week. We'll be back here Monday morning next week to
Here.
have another
Just
edition.
entertain.
Yeah, let's find out more about us. We didn't have a big, well, except the reveal. You know, normally we have a big reveal on you.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed.
We'll think of one for next week.
Yes, all right. Stay well, stay home. See you next week.
Bye.
All right, really good to